Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Valeo Experience YouTube channel. I am Dr. Giselle Miller, and I'm here in the beautiful country of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Guess what? This is season 3, and we are looking at things that pertains to women. When we think of a woman, we think of a woman of strength. We think of vulnerabilities. We think of the fact that they have to juggle so many different things. But this season, we want to take some time to actually feature the lives of different women. We want to look at the fact that, women sometimes have to deal with not just the expectations in terms of career, academics, a professional life, being a mother. But what about those persons who have to deal with things like infertility, miscarriages, all of these other challenges that are sometimes overlooked? And this season, we want to take the time to let persons appreciate that when you hear the word woman, it is coming with a multitude of different things, all packed together in behind a nice smile, behind an elegant dress. And even when it is not, you know, mask behind a smile or an elegant dress, that even when you're looking at someone who is seemingly carrying the burden, that we still have to take the time and appreciate that every woman matter. Today with me, I have 3 special women. They are special to me, they are there to my life. And I want to take the opportunity now to introduce my 3 guests. We have Dr. Rosen Smith, and she is in the lovely island of Jamaica. And I call Jamaica my second home because that's where I studied. She is Vincentian, and she will tell you a bit more about herself. I have my friend and sister Abigail Haynes, as well as my darling sister Shanika David. And these are all queens, 3 queens that will be sharing on this panel today as we discuss what it truly means to be a woman and understanding all the nuances and the intricacies, the things that men so often say they can't understand. We are trying to shed some light on it today. Welcome, ladies. Welcome to the Valeo Experience YouTube channel.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to all my fellow ladies here. It's a pleasure to be here with you all, and I hope that we would shed some light. It may not be what people expect or thought of in terms of women and understanding how we operate, but I really hope that other women will be inspired as well.
Yes. And Dr. Smith.
Thank you so much, Dr. Giselle. I hope I can call you Giselle.
You go right ahead.
I know this doctor thing is not going to work out for us this evening. Thank you so much. It is really a pleasure to be here. I am one of those who is all about women empowerment. So I as soon as you told me that this is going to be a program about women, I really jumped for this opportunity, and I truly hope that we will touch somebody's life today and encourage and empower a fellow woman.
And Shanika, thank you so much.
Good afternoon, ladies. I'm so happy to be here among such a distinguished panel of women. And I have to say, I have to let out a little secret. I'm a fan of all of you. Abigail, Dr. Miller, Dr. Smith. I listen to you guys, especially Dr. Smith. You crack me up so much when I listen to your lives. So I am really, really happy to be here this afternoon, and I am looking forward to contributing to this conversation.
Great. Awesome start. So guess what? The first question I'm going to ask, and you can jump in at any point. What does it really mean to be a woman? I've heard this question, this statement made time and time again by a lot of men, and even some women might allude to the fact that women are difficult creatures. Like, who understands the woman? As a matter of fact, there are so many memes that they have out there, and I think some of the memes really can come over very disrespectful and hurtful. That you have a man being 1, 2, 3, simple, but a woman have all of these dimensions coming out from all different places. And people take it for granted what it truly means, the essence of womanhood. So who would want to jump in there to start that conversation? What does it mean to be a woman? What does it mean to you to be a woman?
Um, I think I'll jump in first. It's a question indeed that a lot of us, even as women, sometimes we don't even understand it ourselves because we are so dynamic, we're very complex. And sometimes these memes are a little bit disrespectful, but indeed we are very complex. And I would attribute that to the fact that we can grow a whole human in 9 months, right? So,
There you
you've
go.
got to give us props for that.
Hmm.
But, on a serious note, being a woman is, we're not just about being at home. We're not just about doing chores. We're also a support system. Even without having children, we're a support system to other women, to children of other women, to our male colleagues. We're also those who encourage, not just in terms of family life, but in terms of academia. We're the ones that push each other. We're the ones that strive for excellence to be better.
Yeah.
And I think we have been so marginalized for many years. Going back to slavery and those days of old, where it was more so women should be at home. That is our role. But indeed, we've seen studies, we've heard persons talk about the fact that women can multitask. We can do so many things at one time that a man really and truly cannot do. And I mean, it's just God given. That's all I can say about it. But we're so multifaceted. It's really difficult to say what a woman is because there's so many facets of being a woman. You
Yeah.
cannot place a man in a woman's shoe and expect him to operate. He really can't. And I'm not saying that to be malicious in any way. It's just really and truly a fact.
Okay. I take that.
Abby, I'm listening to Abby. I hope I can call you Abby. Every time I see Abigail, I say Abby.
That's fine.
And when I heard the question, I said I really have never given that any thought. But for me, a woman is a human. I think too often we try to define us, and by defining us, some persons put us in the home, some persons give us role, and it's as if those roles do not belong to men. And I would put a spin on things and say we are human. We are human just like any one of you. And so our roles are defined by society, and just like the role of a man is defined by society, but we have been doing a lot of things that any human. So we always aim for equality. If we can nurture, men can nurture. Maybe God has blessed us with some qualities that men, we probably men weren't socialized with, or we haven't developed those skill sets in a man, because traditionally woman role was seen in a home. And maybe we can make arguments for that, but at the end of the day, I would simply say that we are human. We are human, we are multifaceted, we multitask, as Abby said, but there are also men who can do such duties. So I really don't want to put us in a box to say that we are special and unique and all that. Indeed, we can make argument for that, but I'm quite certain there are men out there who can say the same thing. I really just don't like to be placed in a box where I say, oh, this is your role in a home, because I am a breadwinner, I am a mother. I am doing a lot of things that, if we were to follow society, I would still be just scrubbing the house and doing all that. So I'll say we are human. We are human, multifunctional, multifaceted and so on. But at the end of the day, we are human.
Okay. All right, Shinika.
Um, well, the fact that we are multidimensional, I think that is what makes us beautiful human beings. I think that is what makes us who we are. The fact that, we have strengths, we have weaknesses, just like anybody else. We have good days, we have bad days. And I think that all of these things combine, whether we want to label them strengths or weaknesses, it's what makes us women beautiful. And as Abigail said, we are able to accomplish things that men cannot accomplish. And of course, it's not a competition. Everybody has their role to play and so forth. And so it is what makes us beautiful. I enjoy being a woman. I enjoy being feminine. I enjoy being able to take care of a home and still go out and work at an 8 to 4 and do that well. I enjoy the fact that I am intelligent. I enjoy the fact that I am educated. I enjoy the fact that, I can do some things. I would not say everything. I can do some things that men can do. But what is interesting to me is that even though I may not be able to do some of the things that men can do. We see women these days who are tapping into fields that were traditionally supposed to be for men. And that is beautiful to see. The fact that we are multidimensional, whether or not, they want to make a meme of it and they want to make fun of it. I think that that is what makes us beautiful.
Okay. So the thing is, ladies, you identified a few things there. We have the fact that yes, we are multidimensional. We are human beings. So that means that first and foremost, before anything else, we feel we have blood running through our veins, and pretty much all of the things that are of concern for a male from a physical standpoint, we also have some of the challenges that we have to battle with as well. And then we think in terms of all of the different dimensions now, all of the different components of who we are as an individual. So I want each of you to just simply tell us a little bit about who you are as an individual in terms of what do you do, some of the things you like, some of the things you don't like, and coming from the standpoint of I am woman. I'm a woman and this is what I do. Sometimes we hear a person say, I wonder what it would be like to walk in someone's shoe for one day. Okay? What are some of the things that, would define Abigail Haynes or Rosen Smith, Shanika David? What are some of the qualities or things that will be unique to you as a woman?
I suppose Abby doesn't want to start this time, so let me jump in. Okay, I'll start by saying that I am a mother. I think for me, that is my greatest accomplishment to date, in spite of the fact that I am highly educated. I am a lecturer. I think for me, and the struggles that accompany, the struggles that came prior to being a mother, even made me, feel more fulfilled, having accomplished that. Because as persons will know, it's nothing that I have hidden. I went through my period of infertility and fighting that war before I was blessed. So my children is everything to me, but at the same time, I am trying to balance being a mother, as with my career, and sometimes feeling as if, the two just cannot occur. Right, there are moments when I feel like I had to take a step back and say I really don't want to prioritize my career over my children's life, because you have to be giving them, and you still have to give to your work. And so striking that balance at time is a very difficult task for me, especially during COVID. Believe me, before I was doing, I think I was handling it good, but when COVID and we began working from home, my God, I needed a counselor myself, Dr. Giselle. I actually had to call and speak through what I was going through. Right, so I am a mother. I love to I love to hold my lives. I like to encourage. So you will see, if you're on my social media, you will see that sometimes I try to do all these things, but there are times when I have to take a step back, because persons always ask what happened to the life. Believe me, it's very hard to balance career, lives, blogging, and all these different things. And so sometimes I just prioritize and I step back a little bit. But when I think about myself, I see myself as somebody who has travailed several difficulties, even coming from my poor background and being where I am. And because of that, I am somebody who likes to inspire and empower and encourage and just push women up. So if I hear another woman talking negatively about another woman, sometimes just, rub me the wrong way.
Yeah.
Rub me the wrong way. But I believe in that kind of, togetherness and just pushing each other up to achieve our goals.
Okay.
I would have to agree with Dr. Smith as it relates to helping each other. For me, I'm not a mother as yet. I do strive, I do hope that one day the Lord will bless me with that opportunity. But until then, my priority is living a life that is pleasing unto the Lord. That is my first and foremost priority in life, to make sure that my life represents the kingdom. I am a Christian. I've been a Christian as far back as I can remember, and that has been my life. It has been, when I was in school, it was school, church. When I started working, it was work, church. That has been my life, and I love it. It is something that I love. It is something that I live for. And the Bible speaks about different gifts, and one of the gifts that the Bible speaks about is the gift of health. And I think that I have been blessed with that gift. In that, I also like to support women. I love to see women um, grow and achieve their dreams. And a lot of the times we as women, we tend not to support each other. But I always say, once you support somebody's dream, once you support a woman's dream, it's a win-win situation. Imagine being in the background, trying to help somebody to achieve their dream. You have access to so much information. You have access to what to do, what not to do. You have access to decisions that are made, mistakes that are made. And then imagine now trying to achieve your own dreams. You are going in with a wealth of information. And so for me, I also like to help. I also like to see women grow. And that is one of the things I think is one of the purpose I have here on earth, and that is to help. And that is why that's my answer.
So I'm going last this round.
Yes.
Um, but I think for me, I have always strived for perfection, which in itself is a bad thing because you cannot be perfect. You could try to be, but you can't. And I've often found myself trying to do my best at whatever I put my hands to. It may be helping somebody with something. I always try to be as dependable as I can be. If I can do it, I am there. If I can't, I'd let you know that I can't. In terms of work, I've always strived to ensure that when something is done, it is done to the best of my ability. No exceptions. For me, failure is not an option. Um, in doing my own Facebook Live, which, as Dr. Smith said, it had to take a little bit of a back burner for a minute, because we're trying to do all of these other things with work and other things in life. Um, but that has always been, well, not always, but I think coming to after college, I think that has been my goal in life, that whatever I do, to do it to the best of my ability. And I think the quote that always sticks with me is, do unto others as you'll have them do unto you. So if you want somebody to help you with something and you want them to do it properly, you should do that favor as well. It always comes back to you. Even if it doesn't, at least you know that you did your best. um, so that's it for me. No matter what you do it to the best of your ability, and failure is not an option. Even if you fail, there's a lesson to be learned. Sometimes we get very depressed sometimes because we notice that life possibly isn't going the way we want it to, no matter how hard we try. But there's always something in trying one more time. That
Yeah.
one more time might be that time you make it and you say, well, I'm happy that I tried one more time. For me, I know persons might say, oh, she always looks happy. That's something that I've cultivated. You always have a smile on your face, you're always laughing, but sometimes people don't know some of the struggles that you're going through. And sometimes the minute you decide to um, become a victim of that emotion, you fall apart. And it's harder to get back up than to put a smile on your face and say, you know what? Yes, it's difficult. Yes, it's not going the way I want it to. But you know what? I'll smile through it.
Yeah.
So that's Abigail in a nutshell, I think.
Okay, so you guys brought up a few things there that I would want us to touch on. And coming out of what Abigail said, the whole essence of perfection. One of the things that I realize when I work with women, even as I try to help through my coaching, and I try to talk to persons to engage to get them living purposefully, one of the things I realize that becomes an area that can imprison person is the need for perfection. And one of the things from a female standpoint is that feeling that there is a necessity. As a female, the only way you're going to make it in this life, you have to be perfect. Because there's a competition not only with fellow females, and we'll talk about that shortly, but there's a competition of understanding now that this is a man's world. So even when we look and we see the research shows or the stats will indicate that women have advanced beyond in terms of academic achievements and all of these different things, that we still see in some sectors that women will not be able to pass beyond a particular point in terms of management, in terms of leadership in different organizations. So the essence of being perfect has always been something like a weight that women carry. And it's important to distinguish perfection versus excellence. Doing your best is all that we can do. But that does not mean that's perfection, that's your excellence. What would you say to any young woman now that is starting out? Because all of you have a career, we have a lecturer, we have, Abigail, what's your post now?
I am chief of staff.
Chief of
So
staff for
yes,
one
I
of
deal with a
our,
lot of persons.
right? So one of our major companies here in St. Vincent. And Shanika, you're in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs or Trade?
Foreign affairs and the foreign trade.
Right, and foreign trade. So you guys have started out, and we have obviously Dr. Smith is a lecturer at the University of the West Indies Mona campus. How have you guys navigated your presence, so to speak? Finding your footing in the work field, and also what would you say to any young woman that is starting out and is feeling intimidated, feeling scared that if I am not perfect, if I mess up, then I'm going to lose credit, I'm going to not be able to fit in? What would you say to that person?
So I'll start this round, seeing that I brought up that whole perfection thing.
Yes, you did.
Um, and that's the thing. I've always tried to be perfect, but then you get to a point in your life when you realize you can only do your best, right? And that is what it is, doing your best. And a lot of times, that pressure's there because obviously you're feeling that you need to be, but when you do your best, that's where the satisfaction comes in, because you know that you've done all that you can. And when you do your best, people see that. And when we think persons aren't looking, they really are, and they see your best coming through. And a lot of times when we talk about perfection, it's more so masked in trying to be something that you're not. It's always trying to um, copy what somebody else is doing, or try to be like somebody and do things the way they would do it. But if you do it your way and do your best, that is what matters. To a young lady who is just starting out, who's just getting into a particular career, do your best. Look at your strengths, look at your weaknesses, and embrace your weaknesses and work on those. Of course, at times you may feel, well, I may not be able to get it the way somebody else does, but it's not about somebody else. It's about you being able to ensure that your weaknesses, you work on them until they're no longer weaknesses. There always be faults. That's just the way life is. There will always be faults because we're not perfect. But trying your best is what matters. And over time, it becomes a strength because you've worked on it so much that it's no longer a weakness. So
Yeah.
that will be my encouragement to any young lady. Try your best and work on your weaknesses, and do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to look at yourself, and look at yourself boldly. because a lot of us, we look at things in our lives and we're in denial sometimes a lot about, who we are and who other people see, right? And so we need to look very closely at ourselves and acknowledge that, okay, if somebody says to you, um, you're really not good at that, be woman enough to say, okay, why did they say that to me? What do I need to improve on? Do a lot of introspection and make sure that you are living your truth and do your best for you.
Okay. Anybody wants to add?
Yes, Abby, I think that that last bit there, that's such a mature, positive response. And that is something that I would seek to incorporate into my life. But I would also say that perfection does not exist. Perfection, it's not real. It's a facade, smoke and mirrors. Um, I would also add to what Abby says in terms of doing your best. I would remember I was looking at a documentary from a Usain Bolt documentary, and he was talking about, I think it was the very first race where he broke the world record, and I think he was having a conversation with one of his country mates, and he was telling the country mate, listen, when you get out there, yes, you're in a competition, but run your own race. Don't look left, don't look right. Look at the finish line, focus on the finish line, do your best, run your own race. You don't need to try and outdo me. You're not gonna win. Well, we know how Usain Bolt is as it relates to his confidence. He said you may not win, but you need to run your own race. Your race is set for you, and that also speaks to timing. A lot of the times, as a young professional, you go into a field and you see so many people progressing and you're eager to get to where they are. Understand that timing is everything. Everything will happen in its own time. I have a friend that always says, everybody has a different pace in life. So you might end up reaching to some, a goal that I have before I do. But it doesn't mean that I'm not going to get there. I'm going to get there eventually. But I have to run my own race, and I have to understand that everyone has their own pace in life. And that would be the encouragement that I would give to a young professional.
Yeah.
Okay,
And Roseanne, before you start, I want to twist yours a little bit because you have kids, and whether or not you felt any pressure having to leave to go on maternity break, and how did that really affect you on your journey as a professional, as a career woman?
and just in terms of having kids, they were planned, especially when you're trying. When
Yeah.
you're trying, is you really have to plan. And my first kid actually came on the PhD journey, and I would have had that conversation with my supervisor to say, even as he encouraged me to move from the MPhil into the PhD, and I simply said, just know that a child is going to come along the way. There was no pressure. Indeed, I had a good support system. Even with my second child, it's almost like they're saying, we have this Rose, because they call me Rose at the department. Take your time. It was really good support system coming from in terms of my career. So I have that support. But even as I think about all that has been said before, and even my journey to where I am, one of the things that is sometimes we have low self-esteem, we have low confidence, and so
Mhm.
because of that, and I'm going to probably be advertising Joselle's life coach right now, we need mentors,
Yeah.
right? We need to surround ourselves with persons who can encourage. Like, I didn't think I would be here today in this at this level. I
Yeah.
did not see it. There was nobody in my life, even though I have a mother who sent me to school, sent me to church, and so on. It was not like if she was saying, you're going to university. I wasn't hearing these things because that background that we are coming from, persons weren't going to university, right? So I had that coming out from my St. Joseph convent. My friends there, everybody was thinking,
Woo.
everybody was thinking about it, and so I had friends telling me about university, and so that was one step. So it is good to set goals for your life, And it's also good to have the right persons. And I always say separate yourself from persons who are not pushing you up, right? If you're in at the same place consistently, you're not moving, you're wasting time. The crowd, there are persons who I speak to, and when I finish talking to these people, it's like I'm ready to write an academic paper. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready. It's not like if they're saying go and do it, but the conversation motivates you so much to do something. So it is very important that you have the right people in your life, and that you start cutting out those seasonal persons whose season is really up and you're just tagging them along. The season has changed and they are there like a big weight. They are a big weight. That you feel depressed. That there is nothing, and you still have them around you. As women, sometimes we have to look, introspect, as Abigail says. But at the same time, even as you introspect and you look around you, it's time to make some movement. Set your goals. I had to set goals, but my goals came later on in life after I had that first push, when I realized that things that I did not see for myself, persons were actually seeing and pushing and supporting me. When I realized that, and I gained my own self-confidence, and I gained some level of self-esteem that was pretty low even in high school. Even though I mask it well, and persons will say, oh, you never look so, you were always smiling. We mask it well. That is one thing with more women. We're good at hiding things, right? But they push me. And then after I get a stage in my life, especially when it comes to my career, I set goals. So I will say, look, in 2 years time, 3 years time, this is what I want to accomplish. And after that, I start putting things in place to achieve that. So if I have to encourage a young woman today, I will say to you, first look at yourself. Think about what you want to accomplish. Think about those persons around you. Are they willing to motivate you? Have they been encouraging you? Is it a case that every time you open your mouth, it's just party and waste time and drink and all the other things that really is not taking you up there, right? I have the opportunity to encourage persons, being a lecturer, because they come into my class. So every time first day, I always set them on the path to set the goal. I said, look, you set the goal now. If you want first class honors, you set it now. Right? So this is where you start push. So you have to identify for yourself what you want to accomplish, and stop focusing on the negatives. Too often we focus on all the things that are bad in our life, all the problems that see, because that is what I used to do. That is why I can speak, I can speak on the issue. When my friends were telling me going to university, I keep telling them, but I need to help my mother. I need to help pay the rent. I need to help pay the bills. I need to do this. I need to do that. It was always the issue. It was always all the other challenges rather than what I need to do to really make that step. And so that is what I will say. Start thinking about what you need to do. What do you need? Set your goals. What do you need? Do you need other person? Do you need a life coach? Do you need mentors? And surround yourself with women who will motivate you. And that is why it's so critical for us as women never to pull down another woman, and really to be that voice of encouragement, so that when they come to us, even though we can constructively criticize, it is for us to say, you can do it. So along with Abby's words of encouragement there, and Shanika's, I also want to add, you can do it. You have to know that you can do it and believe you can do it in order to achieve those goals.
Well, the way how my cup is just full and running over with these women today. Like, wait, what? Let me tell you. So I'm listening and I'm hearing so many good nuggets coming out there, that we need to have people in our corner, but we have to have the right people, because a lot of us have a lot of people, but they can't put together to make one. And I love the fact that you have to be a visionary for yourself and set some goals. But you know what? What is really, really important is not even so much as to how persons view us, but how we view ourselves. And one of the things that I think a lot of women struggle with is what is called the imposter syndrome. That you get to the point, you say, I'm gonna set this goal, and I've set the goal, I have achieved it, and we start second guessing it. People will think I'm a fraud. Like, I don't think that I can measure up to this. I am now going to be management, I am a lecturer, I am doing this, I am doing that, and people will start looking at me and say, if some pull string thing gets her there, or whatever the case is, and we start telling ourselves that we cannot go further. So I want to debunk that idea right now for anyone that is going to be listening. Any female listening, understand that these three women, they are visionaries. They have already started their pathway and they have so much more to go and so much more to achieve. But one of the things is that they're running their own race. We can't compete against each other and we can't compare ourselves, if only to motivate and to encourage, but not to look at anyone else as a competitor that will allow us now to feel like we are not achieving anything. It is often said women don't support women. Women are women's worst enemy. Men say it, women say it, the old say it, the young say it. How do you feel about that? Do you have any experience where a fellow sister, and we're not calling names if you do have one, but a fellow sister or a situation where you felt as if these persons should have been cheering you on and these persons were the one who sought to undermine, who did everything in their power to make sure that you did not achieve or attain? And if you had that experience, how did you overcome it? And what would you say now to women as you move forward to encourage persons to prop each other up and to straighten each other's crown?
I suppose unless Shanika, you want to start this time or should I go? I think it's really weird, in a way when it comes to that it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. We shouldn't lie about that woman. We are our worst enemies, and the funny thing about it is sometimes we are not aware, and that is where that you might be in a situation and you are not aware that another woman is pulling you down, and that was a situation for me. The good thing is that it did not occur at the point when my self-esteem was low. It did not occur at that point, because if it did, it could have shattered me, because even at this point when I believe I do have a good level of self-confidence, I still second doubt myself. Like, I'm doing something and I have to be looking yourself in the mirror and like, you still have to speak into your life. I still have to speak into my life at this stage. Sometimes I even have to call colleagues and say, look, what you think about this, and they say, boy, Rose, you know it good. And I read it and I will send it to several persons just because I am second doubting. So imagine if you have a low self-esteem and somebody deposit these negatives in your life. For me, it was at the start of my career, and it was simply somebody coming to me and telling me, what you did to this person, this person doesn't seem to like you. And so when you hear those things, especially when you have not had an encounter, because that is a strange thing sometimes with us, we don't have an encounter, personal encounter, to say that you give the person reason. And I am the kind of person, my personality is very straight, and that is, it's a strength and a weakness at the same time, because I always have to think about my words before I say it, because I will say it. I will just say the truth. And I believe if somebody has an issue with me, come to me directly, because that is what I would do, right? I will go to you and say, I hear such and such, is that the case? And so I found it very strange that somebody come and say, what did you do to this person? Why they don't like you? It does not appear that they like you. They have been saying these things, right? And in just learning a little bit more about this situation, you realize that sometimes a woman can be your friend if you're at the same level. But from the time you start to elevate, you become an enemy.
Child.
And it's really strange. It's like, it's good. You will have all the support that you can get at that level, but do not move beyond them, because when you move beyond them, it's becoming a competition. Now I'm very goal oriented. I have a goal for my life. I know how I want to retire already. So obviously I can't retire well if I'm seated, not doing anything. I have to put things in place. I mean, I have to do what it takes to move me. So I am doing what it takes. No offense to the women around me. You do as we keep saying, go on your journey, go at your pace, and I will go at mine. But somehow it can offend another woman. And then you hear them speaking to persons who actually can sign a paper and say, you're not promoted, or you're not this or that. Speaking to those persons which can pull you down as a woman. And so it's very hard. As I said, it hurt me at my level of self-confidence. So it never bruised me or caused me to stand back. In fact, what it did was motivate me, because I say, you're not seeing nothing yet. I'm not seeing nothing yet. It's upwards. You could I can pull you up, but you're not keeping me back. But for women who are like that, just nip them out. After that, I really just separate myself so I can maintain that professional relationship. But we are not friends. You understand? And as far as I believe, as Christian as I am, because I am a Christian also, I don't think if God showed me Judas, me should hug up Judas and kiss up Judas and so on. I can be cordial to Judas. I can pray for Judas. But at the same time, I'm not going to eat from Judas before Judas poison me. So I'm very vigilant and discerning from what I have learned. And that is what I will say to anybody. If you have learned something, be vigilant. Don't be naive. Don't be naive, because women, we can indeed be our worst enemy.
And
Word.
preach, sister, preach. I mean, but what Dr. Smith said, it is so true. It is so very, and for the life of me, I cannot understand. And oftentimes you'd find these people to be friends, or rather you think they are your friend, right? When you find that you're heading in a particular direction and you're seeing the light and you're reaching for it, you think that these people are in your corner, will be there supporting you. And then sometimes you'll hear some comments, you'll see their mannerism toward you, and you have to say, hang on, what's happening here?
Yeah.
And then you just say, you know what? That's fine. That's cool. You're not supporting me, but I'm going to get it anyway. Right? I've had that happen to me as well. And that was how I took it. I said, you know what? Okay, fine. Clearly, you're not necessarily in support of me doing that. You're not necessarily going to help me get there. That's fine. That is cool. I support I am thankful for your support thus far. And that's good. We'll still be friends, but we wouldn't be chummy, right? That's all right. Yeah, because, and Dr. Miller has said to me time and time again, and I've heard other people say it, there are some persons who would only get to certain stages with you in your life. Steve Harvey says it all the time. There'll be certain persons, they would only go to a certain place with you, and then you have to leave them there. Sad, as harsh as it may seem, if you want to get a particular place, there are only certain persons that'll get there with you. And it's interesting because, well, for me, I remember one particular occasion when a friend of mine, I'll call her friend, because that's the way I see her. I remember when she was in the newspaper and getting congratulated for getting to a particular position. I cried tears. I was there, cheering as if, well, it was my accomplishment, because I felt so happy for her that she was able to get to that level. And I'm so happy when I see persons able to achieve certain things. I feel as if I'm the one doing it, and I often use those accomplishments of others to say, well, okay, she can do it, I could do it too. Not necessarily the same thing, but I could do it too.
Yeah.
And as women, we often have this way, while we second guess ourselves, we try to deny at the same time. Okay, maybe, and you just try to make it seem like, okay, you're all right. It's okay not to be okay, and to acknowledge that you're not okay, but to also seek help when you're not okay. But seek help, as Dr. Miller would say, from the right people.
Yeah.
And make sure that you have those right people in your corner, because there'll be people who will tell you, oh, you know what you're feeling, you're so right. Yeah, go ahead, and they'll encourage you in that negative way you're feeling about yourself. Because as Dr. Smith said, once you get to a particular point and you begin to surpass them, then it's a totally different playing field altogether. But you have to remember where you want to go. Shanika said, we're pulling from everybody here. You have to run your own race. It's your race. And there's nobody at all in the world with how many billions of people that could ever be like you.
Yeah.
So you have to know what you want out of life and go and get it. Just like Dr. Smith, I remember when I was going off to study, and I remember a lot of the comments that were being made at the time that, oh, she can never make it. And in the back of my head, I said, you don't know what you just did. Like, you have no clue. Because I said, just look at coming. You just hold on. It's loading, you know? And sometimes we need to use those things as our motivation and not curl into a shell and say, oh, well, maybe I wouldn't. Because then you wouldn't.
Yeah.
So that would be my little bit in terms of going through that experience and how you get out of it. You have to believe in you. That if there's nobody else who would, you have to believe in you. Because
Yes.
as women, once we get in that competition mode, it's a different ball game altogether.
It is. It is. Shanika, do you have something to add?
She better.
Yes, just briefly. I mean, you guys said it all. I mean, what else can I say? But I have had these experiences as well. And what I have come to realize that it's not about you, in the sense that when people attack you, it's not about you. It's about them. And a lot of the times people see life and people perceive life through the lens of their experiences. And a lot of those experiences are traumatic experiences. So I'm not the psychologist here, so I'm not going to pretend, but I'm just telling you from my own experiences. People treat you based on how they just, it's almost like they don't know how else to treat you. They don't know how else to, they don't know how to be civilized. They treat you based on what they would have experienced in their lives. And it's not about you. I remember too when I was applying to go to, and I studied in Taiwan and I got a scholarship to go to Taiwan. And I remember when I was applying for my scholarship, there was this one particular woman, and the woman kept saying, you want to apply? You want to apply for this? This is very competitive. I don't know if you would get through and all of that. And in my mind, I'm like, it's a scholarship. I expect it to be competitive. But while she was talking and while she was trying to discourage me, I was still applying for my scholarship. I went and I graduated top of my class both times. So,
Okay.
sometimes you just have to shut out the negative voices, shut out the negative voices and just push through, focus on your goal, be tunnel vision, and again, run your own race.
I am so super proud of each of you. Let me tell you. So I too have my own dose of negativism. And when I was planning to go out to study to be a psychologist, I was told to do what? To come back and do what? And I am happy to say that I've paved the way for psychology in this country. And I have no shame in saying that. And all the persons who are now in psychology, I am happy that they now have a better standing. And the thing is, do not shy away from walking your path, because where you are heading, you are basically opening the door for other persons to come. And I like what Shanika said, and I always say it. I am not going to allow your insecurity to be an indictment against me. I did not commit that crime, sweetie. I'm going to love you still. And I'm going to teach you how to start loving yourself. And one thing I want to do here and now is to publicly acknowledge how much I appreciate each and every one of you, because all three of you would have impacted my life at different levels and at different times. And the fact is, we have to know how to let persons know where they stand before it's too late. You know that those roses when you can't even appreciate it? Dr. Rosen Smith, I love you, my sister, my queen. And I every time I see you make a post on Facebook, it's like literally my nose starts expanding, because I feel like, yo, this is my intellectual sister. This is the woman here who is not afraid to make a point and to stand on her points. Because so often we have persons who have something to say, but they're too afraid to say it. Abigail has a place in my heart. And, not many persons know that I taught Abigail at school, at convent, in my small, little, tiny tenure as a teacher at convent. But I have seen how you have grown and you have blossomed into this career woman in this independent mind, and you are standing and holding your own in media and in any platform. And I am super proud, and I am the one that is going to always be pushing you. You know that I push you to say, keep it going. Like, we're not standing up, we're not about the sitting down life, we keep it going. And when I tell you about my sister Shanika, she's like my little sister. People always think that we are blood sisters. And you know, we always have this thing, you say, once a kill, once a bury. This is typically the type of relationship. And I want to publicly say, Shen, that the potential that you have has not yet been touched. And it's a matter that you just have to stay the course, trust God, and doors are going to be open. Now you have found your purpose. I believe strongly in scripture that your gifting will always make room for you. So, my ladies, keep your head held high. Do not dim your light. Anybody have a problem with your light? What do we say, Abigail? Buy them a shade.
Buy
And I
them
have
a
plenty.
chance.
I have plenty. And I will lend them the white one. You know, the white one that Shanika wants to destroy. I will lend them my shades. Okay? But I want to really publicly acknowledge you ladies. And even as we wrap up, there are two things that I want us to touch on. The last one, well, I don't know how much, but Roseanne, you could give us your story, how you got there. But one of the things that really challenges women, especially career independent, academic women, you're intelligent. How do you find love, girl? How do you find love amidst all that, It's like the hardest thing, literally, to find a man sometimes that matches your je ne sais quoi. That, and we often hear that women say, I feel I have to settle. And I always say, do not settle. What would you say to ladies now that feel that, you know what, I feel that I can't find a man that can match where I am as a woman and where I'm striving to go? Anyone? I think Shanika should start.
Well, I was looking forward to Dr. Smith, seeing that she's the married one here. But wow, that's a good question. I'm not married as yet, but I think that dating a intelligent woman, it's not always easy. And I've heard many times before from both men and women that I can come off a bit intimidating. I don't see it. I don't
Let me
feel
tell you
like
how I
I'm being
hate that
intimidated.
word. I hate that word, huh? Oh God.
Yes.
Go ahead, darling.
And
Yes.
I actually, I actually asked some of my male friends about it. I asked them about what do they mean, and why is it that they think that women are educated, women are in intimidating. And one of the things that one of my male friends said to me is that when you encounter an intelligent woman, it automatically makes you internalize. It makes you have to face your own self. And sometimes when you face your own self, you realize that well, in your mind you feel that you're not able to measure up. So an intelligent woman tends to allow you to internalize. You have to now look at yourself and you have to say, okay, this woman can take care of herself. This woman can provide for herself. This woman she can basically give herself everything that I cannot. Where do I fit into all of this? And so it makes you, so that I think is what is intimidating, because when you have to look within yourself, you might realize that you are falling short in certain areas. And that then plays on your ego. So I think that that
Ouch.
is why,
Ouch.
and this is coming from a male, this is not me.
Yeah.
This is not me. This is coming from a male. So it is hard. It's not easy to look at yourself in the mirror and look at, and then that's where also competition comes in, because then men tend to want, when you have to deal with an intelligent woman, you tend to want to compete because you want to make sure that you can measure up, that you can at least have something to provide for her. So that I think that I in terms of advice, I just continue being you. I think that the man that is out there for you would be able to measure up. He would put in the work that is needed to make sure that you feel as if you have somebody that is solid by your side. So I will never tell a woman to water herself down to find love. Love, when the love is real, it would adapt to who you are.
Yes. I think we probably will
Boom.
have,
Well
I think,
said.
drops mic, walks
Just
out the
my
room,
walks away.
turns off the lights, story done. But I think seriously that we probably will have to have, if you guys are able, one of these days we need to actually sit down and do a particular um, episode just looking as it relates to love, career, and understanding submission versus this whole intimidation type of thing. But just to throw it into Jasmine's lap, how did you meet your husband? How did that work out? You know,
Okay. This need an entire life, you know.
oh Lord Jesus, sum it up, sweetie, sum it up.
This need an entire life. However, when I think sometimes, you know, I see Shanika making some points, some solid points there, because indeed, a man, we have to understand the way our men are growing to can be, you know, they are growing to, they have been grown to see women in the home, and now there are so many career women around them, and sometimes they themselves don't have that level of education. So yes, it can be a little bit intimidating, if a woman come off with, and especially if you already have a strong personality like myself, it can come off a little strong. So sometimes it toning it down does not mean you're putting yourself less than. So, for
Mm.
example, I met my husband on the hockey field. But I was in school, and I know sometimes people go to university and the tunnel vision is, you know, this, I come here for university and that is your focus. And I'm saying that is high school. And the mother used to say, "Oh, you're no boyfriend until you finish school. That is high school. When you reach university, you're studying, yes, but your eyes supposed to be out there looking, because I don't think some women look right. I think sometimes we think the man will come to us. I think sometimes we think that they will come and knock on the, you will hear a woman say, you know, they can't find a man, but they don't go out. They don't go out, they're home, you know, it's church and home. They don't even visit other churches, and they know the specific church that they're attending. All the money that taken are related, as was my case at Kingdom Life Tabernacle. You know, so you have to visit other churches. You actually have to look. You have to put yourself out there to look. And sometimes as women, we look like if we are already married. You look like if you're not married, you look like you have somebody. Some man looking at you, not sure if you're in a relationship, because you look like that. So it's really, as I said, it could be a very long conversation. I look at my husband on the hockey field, and I talk to him. I spoke to him then. It wasn't anything to say that I thought that he was going to be my husband or whatever the case is. He was just walking, and I said, you know, share your phone now.
We have
And
lyrics to
that was
it.
that. You know, I think I left the hockey field. I never saw him again until he added me on Facebook. And then from there we start talking. I mean, he had me now, so you know, him coming towards me now. So I just, you know, but I think sometimes we watch, we stare, we wouldn't even say hi, because we are still traditional in our mind that the man should be knocking at your house door and things. Sometimes we really actually, and there are some men. My husband is very quiet and reserved. They are shy.
Yeah.
They're like love you up, you know, staring you, and don't, just afraid to say hi. I've seen men, I have spoken to men, because you know I run my life on relationships, so I know a little on this. I've spoken to men who actually like the person, and just to say the words hi, they are so afraid that they might be shut down, that they can't say it. So you don't have to go to them with no relationship. Just say hi. Say hi. If
Hi.
they like you, they will take it from there, you know. But it's really it's really something that, you know, it's a broad, very complex topic too, because it's not just about the man. It's actually how
Yeah.
we also
Mhm.
you know, how we put ourselves out there, and we want, some of us actually want the man, you know. It's a lot
Yes.
of factors involved. But I'm happily married, and I say happy with a big smile on my face, you know, because I'm truly happy. I have not regretted that decision any at all, and it's going to be 11 years of marriage this December.
Wow.
And recently there, my husband was like, what you love about our relationship? And he catch me off guard, you know. He caught me off guard. But so I told it around. I said, what do you love? And he said, to be honest, I just like to be in your presence. And up to now, me still a beam. I
I
am
get
still
you, girl.
beaming. So it's really good when you find that person. So I never regretted saying hi on that talkie field. So woman,
Yeah.
go say hi.
So
Say
you see, you know, this is definitely going to be a conversation that I want us to pick up. Women and relationships in the 21st century. How do we navigate that space? So I'm not going to even bring in Abigail on this one because I know Abigail have a whole, you know, a whole discourse to bring on stream there. So we're gonna save that for when we can come back. And as we wrap up now, ladies, one of the things we keep hearing, we keep stressing the importance of self-care. And I think, Jasmine, you pointed out that one of the things that you had to work on was your ability to balance. I want you guys to just simply speak to a woman, just any woman it is, visualize who that woman is, who is right now under pressure, feeling overwhelmed, COVID, all of these different things, whatever. And you're going to speak to them in terms of the importance of self love, self care, self value, and just let them understand that, you know, pretty much we are all going through it. But what would your encouragement be to them for them to get out of that space of feeling that they're stuck and they can't move? Anyone?
my mic is already on, so I'll take this as a 1 minute wrap up. Yeah, I've gone through it. I've gone through it, especially when COVID just occurred, where I felt like I was under pressure to the point of tears. I cried. I felt, because even though I had my kids, they would be going to school, I will be going to work, and during work, when I get a break, I might go to the salon, get my hair and my nails done. But now there was homeschool, so my child is in homeschool, my husband is in his class, and there is no space to say, get out. And I remembered feeling so overwhelmed. I just the University of the West Indies, they have some support system for us, and I just WhatsApp. I just sent a message to somebody, and they reach out and they said, have you been, you know, going, have you go out and at all to do your nails, to do anything? How do you spend time with yourself? And so it caused me to do some introspection, and I realized that was what was lacking. I wasn't spending no time with myself, and that is what I missed. I actually missed my breathing space, that 5, 10, 15 minutes of not hearing the children chatting in my ears, because as much as I love them, it can become very, very difficult. And so during this time, I make an effort, and I say make an effort because it's quite challenging. I had to actually have a helper sometime come in 1 day per week to assist, and so I make some effort to at least get something done. Still, there are times when I feel overwhelmed, so I do not want you to feel as if I have to fix it. I just know that it pays to spend some time with yourself. And so if you can find some time for yourself to do your nails, get a massage, garden massages, you know, get a massage, fix up yourself. You know, I looked at my husband and said, look, me need to go fix up myself. Me feel popped down. You understand? And I want to fix up myself, you know, and even to fix up yourself and look in the mirror and feel beautiful. That in itself is something that you can try. Self-care is a must. It's a must.
Thank you so much. Shanika.
I remember when COVID just came here, and the whole lockdown, the having to wear a mask, you can't go out, you can't see your friends. so among a certain amount of people inside, certain amount of people outside. Luckily, God blessed me with some very good friends, including Dr. Miller. So what we did, I don't know if you remember, Giselle, but we used to do hikes. We used to go hiking. We used to
Yeah.
go exploring different places in St. Vincent that we had never had the opportunity to. Because at that point, not a lot of people were going out. So we knew if we went out, we would not have encountered many people. So we would not have exposed ourselves to the virus.
And we
And
were in the
being
bush.
in nature in itself therapeutic. It is therapeutic. You breathe in the fresh air, you hear the birds singing, and my friends are a special bunch of people. So we know how to have fun even without not what it might not seem like a lot of fun, but we know how to have fun in any circumstances. So that for me really, really helped. And if I were to encourage someone who feels as though they are stuck, another thing that works for me is prayer. And I know that it probably sounds cliche, but it works for me. Um, Spending alone time, as Dr. Smith says, spending time with the Lord, praying, going into His Word, affirming yourself daily, telling yourself daily that you are special, that the Lord has a plan for you, and that, His timing is perfect, because timing is everything. You will be able to accomplish and you will be able to have experiences that other people have had, but timing is important. And once you fall within the Lord's timing, you would see yourself, blessings will just flow like you can't even imagine. So I would encourage someone to pray, to meditate, seek the Lord, and surround yourself with positive people. That would be my encouragement.
Great. Thank you so much. Abby?
So, being the last one up, I'd agree with both Shanika and Dr. Smith. Both things work for me, but more so, too, spending that quiet time with yourself. Not necessarily going out and having your nails done or doing your hair, but spending that time, you just be quiet. Find a quiet
Yeah.
place. You just sit and you do some deep breathing exercises. Just breathe. Listen to the sounds of nature. Even if it isn't nature, just listen to your own heartbeat. Get in tune with that quietness of mind, of spirit, and pray. Listen, nothing beats
Right.
pray. Listen, I am telling you, nothing beats pray. And you see, in those quiet moments, when you settle yourself, your mind, you settle your heart, and you ask God, okay, what do I do now? I feel overwhelmed. I feel frustrated. I don't know what to do. Nobody could help me. I don't understand. What do I do next? Best believe if he doesn't answer you that second, best believe that answer is coming sooner than you think.
Yeah.
And sometimes when he may not necessarily answer you then because he just wants you to be quiet.
Hmm.
He just wants you to settle your mind, to clear your mind, to settle your heart. And but before you even realize it, your answer is in your mind because all the clutter you have
Yeah.
allowed yourself to relax.
Yeah.
And that is what works for me. Sometimes I am so overwhelmed to the point where I feel nauseous. I'm not kidding. And I just have to settle my mind and just breathe. So,
Hmm.
Abigail, breathe. Calm down and breathe. And I give myself about 5 minutes. And after that, I'm ready to go
Yeah.
because I've gotten myself to a place where everything gets clear. Because sometimes our mind sometimes is in just knots. And we just need to quiet ourselves and let those knots become a perfect line. And you would see clearly. But prayer in the midst of all of that is so important.
Yeah.
So very important. So that would be my encouragement to anybody. Quiet yourself and pray. And it doesn't matter where you are. Even if you're driving, you can have quiet time while driving. Just turn off the radio though, you know, and
Yeah,
you'll be fine.
yeah. Ladies, wow. Thank you so much. It was phenomenal. We have spent over an hour together. The way time flies when we are having fun. I tell you, girl talk is a kind of thing. It's therapeutic. And I really, really speak life over you guys. I want to see you continue to blossom, to be better, do better every single day. And even as you step forth, just always remember that there is some little girl somewhere that you are inspiring. So always bear that in mind, because so often we think that we are doing this thing alone, but there are other persons looking on. And this is just the perfect way to wrap up this episode, as we looked at understanding women. And thanks again for being a part of this. If anyone would have been looking at this episode and in some way you're feeling stuck in your life, you feel that you want someone to speak with, I am very much available for you as a resilience life coach. I can walk you through the process, get you to the place where you're up and going. All right, because we are not in the habit of leaving anyone behind. That has always been my mantra. We leave no one behind. We pull everyone along and we take you to where you need to get to. All right, so take good care. Be back with us another time. We're going to have another stimulating conversation with another phenomenal woman as we look at miscarried mamas. All these women who have lost a baby. It was not easy, but we want to hear their stories and we want to know what they're doing with their lives now, even as they have surpassed such a difficult period. Thanks again. Bye. Bye bye.